With these semifinals, man, it was crazy. I had Celtics in five. If we're, just going to talk about that Celtics Knicks matchup as well, too. I was pretty shocked that it was the Knicks in five. Um, and it's crazy because I feel like just seeing that series unfold, it's really a new era. And when I say a new era, it's really a new era of they're not being dynasties, two peats, three peats, whatever you want to call it. And if memory serves me correctly, I think this is going to be the seventh year that there's been a new champion. Going back from I think the Kawhi. So I think 2019 we had the Raptors, 2020 in the bubble we had the Lakers, 2021 I want to say we had the Milwaukee Bucks, 2022 um we had the who do we have? The Golden State Warriors 2023. We had the after the Golden State Warriors, who do we have? Oh, the Denver Nuggets. And then 2025, I mean 2024, we had the Boston Celtics. And just going into the season, if you'd have told me the Boston Celtics would get bumped out the second round, I would have been like, you're smoking crack or something like that as well, too. So that was pretty interesting to just see how that series pan out. And gotta give love to Coach Tibbs, man. I thought that Tibbs was going to get out coached by Joe Mazzulla. And I thought that the Celtics just had too much firepower. But at the end of the day, they lost fair and square. And obviously, one of the biggest reasons why, the series ended in five games as opposed to it getting extended or being flipped around the other way was with Jason Tatum's, Achilles tendon tear. And we're going to get a little bit into that. So Jason Tatum got hurt. We also seen Porzingis get hurt, and showing crazy symptoms that I'm not going to share with what social media's kind of been talking about. So that was kind of like their their get out of jail free card, you know, their luxury brand, so to say, as well too. That was basically what had them have all the Infinity Stones. So to see him not play to his potential and battle health problems, that kind of sucked. But the Celtics clearly were the better team. And I just feel like I think at least three of those games they were up by 20 points or so. So they should have been took care of business. But it also just made me think, did Joe Mazzulla get exposed? And when I say that, it's he has a philosophy where we're gonna get into our analytical games and try to outshoot you by the numbers and we should win marginally. So that clearly didn't work out. I feel like they could have changed their approach, especially when they were up. You have two wing players who can play at all three levels, um, and they really just didn't take advantage of getting to the paint, drawing fouls, and getting quality shots and really controlling the pace and the tempo and the shot clock of the game and those aspects as well too. So when you get up a lot of shots, it may not fall in your favor, and that's just easier transition buckets for the other team. So I got to give it to the Knicks for, battling back and making it a series for the ages to remember as well too. So excited about for that franchise and seeing Jalen Brunson where there's been narratives where a smaller guard can't lead a team as a number one option. He's, kind of breaking that right now. So I'm proud of him. Cat obviously got traded over there. Mikal Bridges got traded over there. OG Anunoby's healthy. So they did their thing. And there's a reason why he got the clutch player of the year. And he did his thing as well too. So I gotta give them nothing but love and nothing but respect as well too. So it's gonna be interesting to see how the next matchup with the Pacers pan out. And also what happens next with the Boston Celtics as well too. We know they're going to be over the apron. We know they have. I think their luxury tax is going to be more than their actual salary for the upcoming year. So clearly, we know that Porzingis, um, Derek White, Drew Holiday, are going to be possibly shipped around. We don't know yet. All of them seem like tradable assets as well too. So I can definitely see a tinkered lineup going into next season as well too. And obviously Jason Tatum's going to be out of the picture for next year. So this is going to be exciting to see what Jaylen Brown can do as a number one option as well too. So if I know anything, I know Brad Stevens. Granted, they have a new ownership, but I know with Brad Stevens, he um, has been one of the best GMs, quiet as kept. So I expect him to trying to find a way to stay afloat. I still think with their coach, with Jaylen Brown being one of the premier players in the league, being one of the best two-way players, and like I said, Brad Stevens, I think they have a shot at still being a playoff contending team or a playoff team rather. Championship aspirations, no, but they should they should do something well. And then from there, we had a series with the Cavs and Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers. That was another series. I think I had. I want to say I think I you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I think I had the Cavs in 6 or 7. I want to say 7. Um, and obviously with the Cavs, I think they only lost 14, 15 games this past regular season. So we knew going into that series that Garland was hobbled. I didn't know how many games he was going to miss, but from a team from start to finish, they were just well oiled. And I thought that with the twin towers that they had with Allen and they had with Mobley being the defensive player of the year, Donovan Mitchell being the stud, taking that step back and letting the other starters flourish and the bench flourish, the acquisition of DeAndre Hunter. I just thought that they were going to be the better team as well too, but that series kind of just let me know that a couple things. One, your team has to be battle tested. Like Indiana was clearly, a lot of people like to talk about the smoke that they've dodged, not only this playoff run with injuries in the first and second round, but also last year. But, they kept their continuity. They got another additional year under their belt with them with experience. Pascal was the one that got traded mid last season too. So, um, and they had Benedict Mathurin come back as well too. That wasn't there last year. So they have their identity. They're playoff tested. They've shown that they can battle from behind. They've shown that they can play well in crunch time, and they have a lot of depth as well too. So I think where the series kind of changed was game two. The Cavs are just confident from the top down that they could at least win one game because they had a pretty good road record and things just didn't pan out. But even with Mobley out with his ankle injury, and I think DeAndre Hunter had like a hand injury, and obviously Garland with the toe injury, they were still up 20 in the second game, and they blew that lead. They let Tyrese Halliburton miss the free throw, get the get the rebound over 6 people, dribble the ball back, step back three to basically end that. So I knew once they went down 2-0, and with Garland just missing so many times, I just knew that it was going to be a disaster. So it sucks. Because that series is just a little odd from the Cavs standpoint. I truly feel like I don't necessarily know if the Cavs would have won that series, but I just feel like if they were fully healthy to start the series, it would have been a better outcome. But in the end, it's tough, man. They did what they had to do. And it's time that we, as NBA culture, just take them serious as well too. And the thing that's just weird about Indiana is like, by definition, Tyrese Halliburton is a superstar. Pascal obviously is a all NBA type of player, but when you look at that team compared to the other number one options on teams, even the number two option on teams, they're not really glaring at you, right? So I think it's time for us to take them serious, man. And obviously we had the Warriors going up against the Minnesota Timberwolves as well too. I had Minnesota winning in six, I believe. And they won in five. And it's just another thing that I've come to realize is a recurring thing, right? Where playoffs is really about adjustments that you're making, whether it's, with rotations, um, how you choose to switch, how you choose to run your offense and transition out of timeouts. And most importantly, who's healthy? Because one can argue if Steph Curry was 100%, like I said, I don't know the outcome, but I don't know the entire series outcome, but I do know that the games would have been handled differently as well too. Like just his gravity that he commands on both ends, mostly obviously offense, like is like no other as well too. So I ain't gonna lie, like once he tweaked his hamstring and spotted them those like 13 points, I just kind of knew that the series was over. So I kind of loosely paid attention to that series. Um, but it looks like Ant-Man and Julius Randle kind of did their thing. Playoff Jimmy didn't show up like we wanted him to. And then just looking at Jonathan Kuminga, you're just like, damn, like I know he battled ankle injuries, contract problems, but it just seemed like him and Steve Kerr just were never on that right track. So it just makes you think what's going to happen with him this upcoming season. And it makes you think like, why couldn't you guys integrate Jimmy with Kuminga with Steph as well too? Um, Things could have just been different, but it is what it is at the end of the day. So shout out to Ant-Man, shout out to Minnesota, and big shout out to Julius Randle. I know people like to joke on him. I'm one of the people who in the past that obviously looked at his injuries and, playoff performances that didn't match his regular season success. But this year in general, man, he's upped his game to another level. And he's been taking advantage of his mismatches, and I've been most impressed with him being a threat more so than the past couple of years from the 3-point line as well too. So um, it's crazy to think like who won the trade, right? Did Minnesota win the trade? Did New York win the trade? Because if you ask both franchises, both fan bases, players from the team, coaching staff, whatever, ownership, whatever, I think both of them are going to give themselves a pat on the back. So got to give love to them. That's the second time um, going to the Western Conference Finals, and it's house money now. And then, last but not least, obviously we had the Oklahoma City Thunder going up against the Denver Nuggets as well too. And that by far, hands down, was the best series that lived up to the hype as well too. Um, Everyone kept saying that the experience of the Denver Nuggets was going to be what was going to take over or get them over the hump this time as well too. That championship DNA, that championship pedigree. But at the end of the day, man, they were outcoached. Shea showed up when he needed to. Their defense, their athleticism, their youth, timely shots. Um, they just battled. They just battled. And I feel like at the end of the day, had Aaron Gordon not strained his hamstring and had Michael Porter Jr. not, messed up his shoulder, I think the series would have been a lot more different. And honestly, when you looked at the numbers, OKC pretty much outmatched them in every category, major category. So I was a little nervous when they let game one go, but just with how things kind of played out, I was like, I wasn't worried. Especially when I saw game six, I was like, all right, like Braun's making shots, Westbrook's making shots. Obviously, Joker's going crazy. Like everyone was just clipping at a high level, and OKC generated good looks, but at the same time, I knew they were going to play better at home. And one person that I was kind of nervous about was Jalen Williams, and he showed up. He was about to be on fraud watch, fraud alert, but he lived another day because I was about to go off. This podcast would have been a lot more different. And I probably would have been saying to put him on the trade block, but he did his thing. He stepped up, and this was a great series, like I said, and Shea proved why he was the MVP and did what he did when it mattered the most as well too. I'm just a little upset. Sometimes I think the league can be a little bit rigged, and when I say that is at least the last couple of years, once we went away from the NBA award ceremony that happens after the the playoffs when no one cares. Um, I just feel like they should have given the MVP award out to whoever was supposed to win or is going to win in their one of their home games. So it just made me think, I was like, are they withholding and, kind of just thinking about like, hey, if Shea wins, we'll give it to him next round in the beginning, one or two, because both of them have home court advantage versus Minnesota. Or if Joker wins, maybe we'll give it to him. We'll withhold it. So part of me is a little skeptical. Maybe they just didn't want to take away from him, but I feel like that would have intensified and motivated the players more, not just from an individual standpoint, but from the roster standpoint with the players in their rotation as well too. But Shea did his thing, and I'm looking forward to seeing, um, you know, how the Western Conference Finals pans out as well too.